A single photo, just one image posted on social media, was enough to send shockwaves through the fan base and ignite a storm of speculation. It featured one of the league's premier pass rushers, one of the most dominant defensive players in football, standing with a calm hand gesture, a peace sign, but with a face that told a completely different story. No caption, no context, nothing but a still frame that now feels like a cryptic message. And when a player like that, known for rarely posting anything personal, decides to share something so vague and emotionally charged, it's impossible not to read between the lines. Immediately, fans of the black and gold began dissecting every pixel of that image. Was it a farewell? A statement of frustration? A not-so-subtle message to the front office? Nobody could say for sure, but what was clear was that it wasn't just some random picture. This wasn't a guy showing off a vacation or sharing a workout. This had weight. This had timing. And when the timing lines up with ongoing contract negotiations, alarms start ringing louder. This player, let's be honest, has been the heartbeat of that defense for years. When he's on the field, the entire dynamic changes. Offensive coordinators lose sleep. Quarterbacks double-check their protection schemes. And yet, here we are talking about the possibility of him walking away or being traded, all because of a single photo and a silence that speaks volumes. Some people are wondering if this means he's thinking about retirement. Others believe he might be trying to force the organization's hand by hinting at a trade. And then there are those who think he's just not happy with how things are. Going in the contract talks. Honestly, all three theories make sense in their own way. The first possibility is that it's nothing. Maybe he just liked the picture, but given the timing and his reputation for not posting much, that feels like a stretch. The second is that he's contemplating stepping away from the game. That idea isn't coming out of nowhere. Fans have noticed a certain tone in his recent interviews and social media activity that suggests he's worn down mentally or physically. And the third theory, which seems to be picking up the most traction, is that this was a calculated move, a quiet but clear expression of dissatisfaction with how the organization is handling his contract situation. Let's not forget this. Image appears to have been taken during one of the lowest moments of his last season, right after a game-ending injury. He was walking off the field, waving to the crowd, clearly emotional, clearly drained. It's not the kind of picture you post if you're feeling lighthearted or indifferent. It carries emotion, and it's the kind of emotion that hints at frustration, maybe even resentment. That's why I truly believe there's intent behind this post. Not saying it's definitely a trade request or a retirement tease, but it feels like part of a bigger message, maybe even part of a negotiation tactic. Players today know how to send messages. We've seen it over and over. They unfollow their teams, scrub their profiles of any team-related content, or drop cryptic posts at just the right time. It's a new language, the language of social media negotiations. And this could be exactly that, a signal to the front office that he's not happy with where things stand. Maybe he didn't like the numbers being discussed. Maybe he feels disrespected. Maybe he's just trying to make them sweat a little. Whatever it is working, because now everyone's talking. And can you blame him? He's entering a critical stage in his career. He's approaching 30, still playing at an elite level, and this next contract could be the last massive payday he ever gets. You better believe he's going to fight for every dollar. And the thing is, he deserves it. When this guy's healthy, he's a top 3 defensive player in the league. No debate. The numbers speak for themselves. He leads the league in forced fumbles since entering the NFL. He racks up sacks like it's nothing. Last season alone, he posted 19 sacks and 19 tackles for loss. That's not just good. That's Defensive Player of the Year territory. And let's not ignore his value beyond the stats. When he's not on the field, the entire team struggles. That's not speculation. That's fact. In the games he missed due to injury, the team went 1 win and 10 losses. 1-10. That's a complete collapse. He's not just a game changer. He's the foundation. He's the guy that makes the rest of the defense look better. That kind of impact doesn't come around often. And when it does, you pay for it, period. The team's front office is walking a tightrope here. On one hand, they have to be responsible with the cap. They can't just hand out record-breaking contracts to everyone. But on the other hand, if they lowball him, they risk alienating a player who has given everything for the franchise. And that's where the real danger lies. Because if he starts to feel disrespected, if he starts to believe that they don't value him the way they should, that's when you start seeing trade requests. That's when players check out. And for a team that's trying to compete, that's the last thing you want. So here's the real question. What's he worth? Is he worth a first-round pick in a trade? Maybe multiple. In my opinion, he's worth more than that. You don't just trade away a guy like this unless you have no other choice. He's the kind of player you build around. The kind of player that makes everyone else's job easier. If I'm running that front office, I'm not even answering calls unless there's a first rounder on the table. And even then, I'm thinking twice. And let's not pretend this is just about money. Of course the numbers matter. They always do. But this goes deeper. This is about legacy. It's about respect. It's about being seen not just as another piece of the puzzle, but as the piece. This guy has carried the defense on his back for years. He's played through injuries, taken double teams, drawn penalties, and still produced at an elite level. And now, as he nears the final stretch of his prime, he wants the organization to match that same level of commitment he's shown to them. Not next year, not at the last minute. Now, you can feel the tension building. Fans are already split. Some say give him whatever he wants and lock him up. Others argue the team needs to think long-term and can't overpay. But if this franchise is serious about chasing a title in the next couple seasons, they can't afford to let a guy like this walk. Especially not when he's still producing like a wrecking ball every time he steps on the field. He's not just a pass rusher, he's a force, a tone setter. And players like that don't grow on trees. Now, let's be real. It's possible he knows exactly what he's doing with these cryptic posts. This might be his way of creating leverage. If the front office is dragging its feet, if the offer on the table isn't where it should be, maybe this is how he lights a fire under them. Players in today's game are media savvy. They understand how to shape narratives, how to make statements without saying a word. And this, all of this, the picture, the silence, the timing, it all feels intentional. A subtle but pointed reminder that he holds some cards too. It's also worth noting that behind the scenes there are rumblings. Reports have started to trickle out suggesting that negotiations have hit some roadblocks. Nothing official, of course, but enough to make you wonder. Is the front office trying to push a deal that favors the team more than the player? Are they betting on his age becoming a factor in a year or two? Are they thinking they can ride one more season out of him and then reassess? Because if so, that might be a risky gamble. He's already 30 or close to it. And sure, players in that age range can start to decline, but if his current level of performance is any indication, he's not slowing down. He's still flying off the edge, still overpowering tackles, still creating chaos in the backfield. And when you have a guy who can flip a game with one play, one sack, one strip, one tackle for loss, that's not someone you negotiate lightly with. That's someone you prioritize. And that brings us back to the heart of the matter. If he's looking for a number north of $38 million per year, that's not unreasonable in today's market. Not for someone with his production, his leadership, and his impact. We're talking about someone who could go down as one of the best to ever wear that uniform. A future Hall of Famer. So if the choice is between keeping that kind of player happy and risking a holdout or trade demand, I know which side I'm taking. So here's what I want to know from you. If you were running the team and this player came to you and said, give me $37.5 million per season or trade me, what would you do? Would you pay him? Would you call his bluff? Would you start exploring trade packages? I know where I stand. I'm handing him that contract, no hesitation. Because if you let a player like this go, a player who defines the identity of your defense, you better be ready to deal with the fallout. This offseason is going to be one to watch. Every cryptic post, every insider report, every press conference is going to matter because behind the scenes, the clock is ticking and the front office has a decision to make. One that could shape not just the upcoming season, but the entire future of the franchise. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Just imagine it. The terrible towels waving wildly, the energy of Acrisure Stadium at an all-time high, and Josh Allen donning black and gold. Sounds far-fetched? Maybe. But the NFL world is buzzing with one of the most tantalizing rumors of the offseason. Josh Allen to the Pittsburgh Steelers. While no official statements have been made, whispers across the league are gaining volume, and fans are caught between disbelief and electrified hope. Josh Allen has become synonymous with Buffalo. Drafted 7th overall in 2018, he transformed the Bills into perennial contenders, setting franchise records and even taking home the MVP in 2024. He's the guy who brought Buffalo back from decades of irrelevance. So why would he leave? And more importantly, why Pittsburgh? It's that question that has the NFL universe on edge. A move like this doesn't just shake a team, it shakes the entire league. Some speculate internal tension in Buffalo's front office or frustration over repeated playoff heartbreaks. Especially the sting of going 0-4 against the Chiefs could be fueling these murmurs. Others point to Pittsburgh's rising talent pool, hard-nosed defense, and a coaching staff known for maximizing quarterback potential. For a player hungry for a Super Bowl ring, the Steelers might just be the reset button he didn't know he needed. Still, the facts speak loudly. Allen just signed a record-breaking $330 million contract extension with $250 million guaranteed. That's not the kind of deal a team offers if they're planning to ship someone out. But in the NFL, we've learned one thing time and again: never say never. From Tom Brady in Tampa to Rodgers in New York, the unthinkable is becoming the norm. Whether it's pure speculation or the first crack in something bigger, the idea of Josh Allen in Pittsburgh is too juicy to ignore. Steelers Nation is dreaming big. Bills Mafia is holding its breath. And the rest of us, we're just grabbing popcorn. Stay tuned. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.